I get it. UVE spent hours scrolling through endless listings of laser levels, all flashing perfect pictures and glossy specs, only to end up with a tool that barely lines up a shelf or fades into the background when you need it the most. I've been there, and that's why I'm doing this deep dive before you click Add to Cart. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. When you're a contractor, an avid DIYer, or even someone who just wants perfectly straight picture frames, the margin for error is tiny. A laser that drifts a few millimeters or disappears in bright sunlight can turn a quick job into a day-long frustration, and that's the exact scenario the STABILA LA180L tries to solve. But the question is whether it really delivers on the promises of auto-alignment, multiple lines, and high visibility, or if it's another pretty-looking gadget that will end up gathering dust in the garage. First, let's talk about the core of the system: a 3-line laser, a receiver with a clamp, and a small glass enhancement piece that's meant to boost the beam's brightness. The auto-alignment feature is supposed to keep the 3 lines perfectly parallel without you having to manually tweak anything. In real-world use, that means you can set the unit on a tripod or a sturdy flat surface, press the power button, and walk away while the laser does the heavy lifting. I tried it in a typical 12-foot workshop with overhead fluorescent lighting, and the line stayed locked within a millimeter for the whole 2-hour job of installing a row of cabinets. That kind of consistency is rare for a mid-range laser, and it's the main reason the device feels like a time saver. The multi-line aspect is another practical win. The 3 beams project a vertical line, a horizontal line, and a 90-degree cross line, which makes it easy to square corners, align wall tiles, or hang multiple pictures at the exact same height. I used the cross line to align a set of kitchen cabinets, and the result was a perfectly even plane without having to constantly measure with a tape. For anyone who frequently works on larger surfaces, think installing drywall, laying tile, or framing a deck. Having 3 reference lines in one package cuts down on the back-and-forth adjustments you normally make with a single-line laser and a separate level. Now, the highly visible claim is where the rubber meets the road. In bright daylight, many laser levels become ghosts, but the LA180L includes a small glass that refracts the beam, making it pop even in direct sunlight. I set it up on a construction site on a sunny afternoon, aimed it at a distant wall, and the lines were still discernible without any extra accessories. That visibility also helps when you're working in cramped spaces with limited line of sight. The beams cut through dust and clutter better than a typical red laser would. However, there's a trade-off. The glass enhancement makes the unit a bit more delicate than a solid-state laser. One accidental bump knocked the glass slightly out of alignment, and while the auto-alignment corrected the beam, the glass needed to be reseated carefully. If you're the type who tosses tools around or works in very rough environments, you might want to consider a more rugged model. Precision is a buzzword that can be vague, but the LA180L backs it up with a tolerance of about 1 millimeter over a 30-foot distance, according to the manufacturer's data. In practice, that means you can trust the lines for tasks that require tight tolerances, like installing kitchen backsplashes or aligning fence posts. I measured the distance between the laser line and a true vertical using a calibrated level and found the deviation well within the claimed range. For hobbyists who need a reliable reference without breaking the bank, that level of precision is more than enough. Who should consider buying this set? If you're a professional tradesperson who needs to move quickly between jobs and values a laser that can auto-align and stay visible outdoors, the LA180L fits nicely into a portable tool belt. Its case keeps the 3 components together, which is handy for on-site transport. It also works well for serious DIY enthusiasts who tackle projects like installing shelving, tiling bathrooms, or hanging a gallery wall. Any scenario where a single line would force you to measure twice and adjust constantly. The price point sits comfortably between budget single-line lasers and premium 5-line systems, so you get a solid feature set without paying for extra lines you may never use. On the other hand, if you're a casual homeowner who only needs a level once a year to hang a picture or two, you might be overinvesting. The 3-line capability could feel like overkill, and the glass enhancement, while great for visibility, adds a small fragility that you'd have to protect. Likewise, if you work in extremely rough conditions like demolition sites where tools are regularly dropped, the glass could become a liability, and a rugged, single-line laser with a tougher housing might be a better fit. Let's look at the practical weaknesses that could catch you off guard. The receiver with clamp is a useful addition.